I will go live on YouTube right now.
Great.
We are live.
Excellent. And by the way, are we doing a YouTube live and a LinkedIn live at the same time?
No, we are only YouTube.
Okay. By the way, I got this email from LinkedIn saying, I don't think I even applied for it. They just said, you've been approved for a LinkedIn Live. And I went, great. I didn't even ask for it. But it's good to know that we have it if we need it too.
That's great. Yes.
Now, today we're hearing inspirational advice from our brother Ghaith. And
Okay.
I think we just let you speak.
Okay.
I could ask
I cannot.
questions.
Yeah, sure. I cannot name it advices. I choose to make it in a different way.
Okay.
So hopefully you will like it. There is no direct advices about the field, about data science, about AI, not like this. I'm going to say it's my life, how I go there, how I penetrate this sector, and also how I'm learning in general. And maybe it will be at the end of, let's say, of my small speech related to that. Because I'm not learning on plan, which is something you can find it not good. But let's say at the end, we can discuss about it. I will start from my ice age. Let's name it the ice age, which is that event that where everything is started. My ice age started at when I was 5 years old. It's 1987. Now, at that time, my father died. So it wasn't small event. It was something really enlightening for me. Beside all, okay, everybody is sad. My father died. He was young. He was 46 only. But there is something else happened. My life, it was only binary picture. That means everything finished with my mother or my father. But suddenly I discovered there is colors, and the colors are great. That means I got a support as very young boy from great people. For sure, my mother, the lady, she decided to stay with us. That means only for us, me and my brother. I have my aunt. She's also another mother, the second mother for me. I have my uncles, all of them. They did everything just to keep us on the correct track, give us all the support that we need. So suddenly I discovered that, okay, the life has more colors. It's not only binary. And these colors, even if sometimes make kind of confusion for you, but it's also more options for us. And once we have more options, sure, it will be better. We can find our decision. So on the other side, I start being, let's say, some kind of, let's name it maybe somehow good person, that I'm always good in the school. I'm the one who's avoiding any kind of mistake that the family didn't like. And I keep going like this. Everybody is celebrating with each step. During the 90s, my life was full of celebration. Okay. Until let's say the high school year, which is the high school certificate year. It was 2000. Now, at that year, I read a book. It was for one journey literature. His name is Ahmad ibn Fadlan. This person, he make a journey around the world in different places in the world before Marco Polo, before Ibn Battuta, before all of these great people. And his journey was from Baghdad, which was the capital of the world, let's name it at that time, to somewhere currently in Russia, which wasn't Moscow at that time, but in that place between Moscow and Kazan currently. So the great about the book, it was a great message I got. This person, he is coming from let's say, the house of civilization, the house of wisdom, all of these great things, to almost people is living in nowhere at that time. And in his book was showing how much he learned from them. And he learned them also. So it was just kind of message to me that learning is not related to where you are and what you are and who you are. You are always, in each step, you are able to learn. We have to live the learning. Learning is related to our life. Each second, it's learning for us. Sometimes the lesson that we learn, it might be very tough, but most of the time it will be useful and pleasure lessons. And also, there is another event appeared in 2000 in my life, which is I read the paper related to the face recognition, and I was in high school. I wasn't in the college yet. Face recognition and detection. And at that time, CNN wasn't that much, let's say, in news. They are most probably working on how to cluster multiple examples from the face images. And for sure, according to the computation power at that time, also they are trying to use the binary images to create a kind of cluster of image to recognize the face. It was just, for me, it's a magic. This machine, it's able to recognize the face if we prepare the data in the correct way and we find the correct, currently name it model, which is neural network at that time. So when I finished the high school, I got admission from a university, guess where? In Germany. Okay. It was to study pharmaceutical science. And maybe the colors in my life, my family, they didn't recognize that they grow up a monster. Somebody is unable to accept anything. My mind at that point, it was just like deterministic finite automata. That means only one pattern I'm able to recognize. I want to study computer science, nothing else. Either in Germany, either in Syria, no problem, but I will study computer science. So they decide to put me under pressure. So they told me, okay, then you have to stay in Syria. I told them, yes, okay. So this is the first, let's say the first chance to move out of Syria. I spend it just for computer science. And I started the computer science study. At that point, I was somehow not that theoretical person. I wasn't good in the college. That means I wasn't the first or one of the pioneers between the students. Not like this, but I was a challenging person. Let's say I was always trying to find a way to, since I'm studying in the university, in the college, I'm studying AI. I was always trying to find a way, not using the AI, let's say, algorithms or protocols to perform the same task. Always trying to do that for all the projects, for all the homeworks. I'm coming with another solution. Something, it's more depending on engineering. I don't know, maybe this is something I got it from my grandfather. My grandfather always was telling me one thing: if you wasn't a good reader, you have to be at least good engineer. It's not related to your study, but always you have to find a way to structure your solution and make it work. By maybe limiting the options, find the most important options and go ahead. So this is why I was surprised when I finished. I was the third over all the students. That means it was, even all the student was surprised for that, because all the time I have problems and issues and argue with my professors, but at the end I discovered that they are great. They are understanding one point, which is very important. If your student is a copy from you, that means one of the both are maybe not student. Maybe he is chicken, maybe, I don't know. But at the end, if he is creating a copy from him, for sure, this is not a successful learning, for sure. So, and the interesting about my my last project in the university, it was a hospital information system that supported with decision trees to diagnose the patient in different specialties. That mean not only for one specialty. I got the high grade for that, and even I got interest from some hospitals in Syria, especially the hospital that managed by the university itself, which is used for research a lot, just to, let's say, enhance this. And here we start. I work with them for a while, and then I moved to another company in Syria, to another company until 2010. Now, in 2010, there is another lesson. 2009 exactly. There is another lesson. By the way, all of this life of starting from maybe the day of my father when he died until 2009, I was very, let's say, arrogant person. My ego was very high. I don't have a girlfriend because let's say I'm looking for a coffee that drink me. I cannot drink coffee, something like that. So really, I need full understanding from all my friends. I don't care about anything. Okay. So, but suddenly in 2009, there is one clever lady that they got my attention, and this is very important. Why I'm mentioning, because it's funny, but it's important. I start living her life, not my life. I was very attractive to that point. So, and I start destroying everything in my life, it's just started. Started with destroying. Okay. So after 1 year, I have to make let's say, the decision that this is not enough. This is not my life. I have my own challenge. My neural network has to face my challenge. It's designed to my challenges. It's not designed to other challenges. Only I'm able to transfer learning for some challenges. If we are two people, we have to make kind of ensembling, federated learning, wasn't there at that time, but ensembling, let's say. But I cannot face other challenges, not my life challenges. So, but okay, it was really hard time in 2009, and because of this, when I wake up, because I got also admission for master in University Utara, Malaysia, at that time, to continue in AI, as I was the third in my college. But I miss it because I don't want to be far from that lady. So, but after that, this is not good. This is not my life. So at that point, maybe I have another decision I make, which is I'm good in the engineering part. I'm not good as scientific person. I'm unable to master the mathematics behind our field in a good way, but I'm able to push it to production. I'm able to find a way to use it. I'm able to consider all the risk from using new technology or some AI models in the production, especially when it's related to the healthcare, because of my work in the hospital at that time. So in 2010, I got the offer from Mediclinic Hospital in Dubai. I got it when I was in Syria. So, and it was really great. I have a good CV in Syria, but to move to UAE, it was great from the income point of view, also from the chance to, let's say, even if I want to learn more, it's more open country. In Syria, there is a lot of political and other restrictions. So 2010, I moved to Dubai. But at that point, let's back to the coffee. I need the coffee at the end. And I know my wife, she's my friend from the beginning. So I was always think that there is somebody in her life. So I make quick check in her heart. So I found it empty. So I say hi to myself, and we got married and go ahead. So in 2010 in Dubai, it was hard time, in Abu Dhabi, in fact, because it was requested from me to go in my traditional software engineering part, not to use anything related to AI. Data science concept, it wasn't that much appreciated. 3 years, I was working as software engineer, system analyst, until that point where they decided in Abu Dhabi to implement a system called pharmacy benefit management, which is adding more control on the prescription from the pharmacy and more control from the, let's say, from the health system point of view and from the insurance and payment point of view. At that point, for us as a hospital, it was a challenge. So I start learning more. I, let's say, maintain my learning related to the neural networks, decision trees, all kind of supervised learning pipelines. The concept of deep learning, it was, let's say, in the commercial, from the commercial point of view, it was in the beginning. It was only in the beginning. That in 2012 it started. At that point, I'm talking about 2013, at the end of 2013. So yes, I tried to find a way, at least to predict if this prescription will be paid from the insurance company or to be approved before saving it on the system. That means before the physician decide that this visit of the patient is closed. So it was really appreciated by the hospital. It was appreciated by everyone. And starting from that point, we back to the analytic world, data analytic world, because we start working on the patient level costing process, which is also, there is a company in UK working on it with us. So I was facilitator for them. I learned a lot from them. Another project related to for SAP implementation, and also in the hospital, a lot of algorithms I decide about it. So it was from 2013 to 2015, it was fantastic time from my learning point of view. Why? Because I'm not learning to learn, I'm learning to work, I'm learning to perform, I'm living again, I'm live in my learning. That means it's not something only spend the time to learn. And honestly, at that time, I was trying to have some courses, something just to have better knowledge. It was like this for me. I finished the course, I make the exam, I got the certificate, I forget everything immediately because I used to work on it. I used to practice this algorithms and also to put it on the correct place. That means always it has to be part of the process. There is hardware, software consideration. I have to make it. There is a lot of things I have to keep it in mind. 2015, I got the trust overall, high trust again. My ego, it was very high. But at that point, I start to understand that it's not only me in the world. I have other people in the world. That means when my kids born in 2014, 2015, okay, I start thinking that not me is the most important person in the world. And then I reflected to other people. That means not only my kids. There is other kids, there is other parents, there is everybody is living. So let's say I start to be more polite at that point, but still I have this high trust. So I decided to resign and start my own business in 2015. And here everything started to become a complete mess. Okay. I have only my, let's say, my side, another face, let's say, or other life, parallel life, in the eigenspace it was, which is my learning. I was learning a lot. I was reading a lot. I stopped working on projects. Kimberly, I'm not. This is embarrassing, Kimberly. Okay.
Kim, I love hearing you laugh, but I wanted to make sure you know.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was in mute.
No. I think it'd be better if you kept off mute so we could hear when you're laughing, because it's awesome. Please come off mute.
I just love the Eigen universe. I just think that's hilarious.
It absolutely is.
So, okay, who was suffering at that time? Really, my wife. And honestly, this is just to mention it. My life is controlled by ladies. Let's say, starting from my mother, then that lady that learned me that hard lesson, and then my wife. Really, it's always controlled. Let's say, not name it controlled, but it's really, there is this very strong connection with the ladies in my life. So let's say only my learning. I was, for example, I have a great project. I stop it because I will never learn something from it. I stopped the project. It was great with a good income, but okay, just like this. It wasn't easy lesson to get, but after 3 or 4 years in 2019, I got the feeling that this is let's say this is will reach nowhere, because at the end I'm a father, I have kids, I have something, I have to pay my bills at the end. So in 2019, because I got a good experience from the market, I have a chance to back again to the analytic world in Statistics Center in Abu Dhabi, now the house of data. So at that point, yes, in UAE, everything is, all the data is there, everything related to the country, from commercial, healthcare, all of that was there. And again, I also learned from great mentors there. My friend is still in Dubai right now. Good project we work in. After 6 months, I got another job opportunity with also good company in Dubai. At that point, I moved from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, 2 cities in UAE, to be software engineering manager. And my rules, it wasn't really related only to software engineering. Here also there is a great thing appeared, which is it's the first time I applied with the team by myself a full software development lifecycle, application lifecycle for many applications. Already make the design for electronic health record system for Syria. They was a customers for us, but it's not implemented. But the design, full design, we make it there. A lot of healthcare revenue cycle projects using machine learning and data science, it's happened there. And in 2020, COVID comes and everything stopped. So there is here everything, it's maybe it started, I consider it started, but also a lot of things end. The ego, let's say, this overtrust, this arrogant person stopped, because I found myself one of the 90% of the humanity that stay at home and nobody is waiting what he will did. That means I'm not necessary for anyone. This was a huge message for me. What I'm doing, it's only for me and my family. I'm not giving anything to anyone. It's only a work, performing my job. Okay, I'm nice to, I have a lot of friends. I'm nice to all of the friends. Maybe I have, until now, I have friends from 30 years. They're still my friends. That means they are friend of me when I was only 8 years old. So, and all of them are friends. But this is kind of networking. This is social life, but I'm not really giving anything. So at that point where I jumped to LinkedIn and to deep learning, the deeplearning.ai community also. And I tried just to, okay, I have to give something. I have a long journey. For example, in 2020, I'm already spent 20 years in this field, starting from the first day in the university until 2020. Okay, there is some young people, when I started, they wasn't born yet. And this is also another shock for me. Okay, I'm already 37, so I'm not a boy anymore. So this is bad feeling, by the way. I'm still suffering from it. Okay. So in 2020, I start to make more social activities related to mentoring, teaching, trying to help whenever it's needed, because also I spend a long time of helping. And then suddenly, surprisingly, again, pharmaceutical world and Germany called me again in 2021. This is what's happened. So whatever you miss it in the early life, it might come again. So this is my learning journey. I'm not speaking about it from technical point of view, because as I told you, I cannot tell you what to learn about and how to work. My learning, it was more related to my life, really. And let's say the best thing on that, it's yes, we have to learn all the time. When we have a target, we can reach, but don't consider it as always you are going up. Whatever I mention here, it's the highlights, it's the hypes, but between these hypes, most of the time I was always in the deep sea. That mean I wasn't able to see the light. But I have something on my mind. I want to do it, so I will try to do it. Not only one thing. That mean always I'm reviewing my targets. So my learning journey, it's like this. It's something related to, yes, I have a passion toward this technology. I have a passion toward implementing it because I believe truly it can help the humanity to be better, to give us better life for us, for our kids, and for the new generations also. And this is the only thing that motivating me. Other learning, it's from my life only. That means it's during my work, my life at home, my life with my kids, everything. Here is the learning where it's happened. That's all. How much time I spent?
No, not long at all. So, the arrogance.
Yep.
First of all, I will embarrassingly say I can relate. But I think the arrogance was always balanced by the harshness of other arrogant people. In other
Yes.
words, I always had this unbridled confidence, but at the same time, I was painfully aware of how harsh our fellow humans can be toward us. Especially, I've noticed, oh, the more arrogant you carry yourself, the more people want to knock you down too. And I think what you shared, Guy, the reason I'm bringing this up, I doubt you're the only person in our field that struggles with arrogance. That when you see yourself having a valued skill that puts you in the upper percentiles, it's easy, but also very erroneous to start thinking of yourself as above others. And I'd say probably one of the more welcomed traits. And I'm posing all this to say, are you on the same journey? Is to see others as even more important than ourselves the older we get, and the joy that brings.
Honestly, yes. Okay, this is the great part, that maybe one of the, let's say, hard lessons in my life. It's okay, you are not the best, you are not the only, okay, and you will get, let's say, the farmers in my country, they used to have one analogy that if you have a farm in lower land, not in the mountains, it will get water from all the mountains. So I honestly, right now, I believe on that analogy. I really, yes, this is what we have to do. When I'm talking to Sai and I give some advices, for example, to him, not because I'm better than him, because only I'm a little bit older, I have this lesson. But honestly, whenever he comes with a new idea, I'm learning from him. I'm learning how to even motivate myself, how to find a good thing to do. Not only Sai, because we are friends, I mention his name, everyone. Okay. So yes, this lesson, but it wasn't easy to get. I discover that point. Maybe honestly, I take a long time to discover it. It was in 2009, 2010, because I considered, according to the, let's say, to the evaluation part in my country, as a successful person at that time. Okay, so why I have to care? Okay, I'm good enough. But honestly, this good enough, it's a myth. Nobody good enough.
Like, actually, that's whatever is really great. I just had one small question.
Go
Like you
ahead.
mentioned about your 2009 phase where you mentioned that you don't know about the scientific explanation of something, but you know how to put something into production. So what
Okay,
was that?
I don't know. It wasn't accurate, but I'm not mastering it. Okay.
Yeah, but what is the driving force behind it that you have that, yeah, I need to put it some other way. I have imperfections, but I need to put it some other way.
So whatever, maybe this is just, I have somebody is knocking on the door. Let me go and check what happened. Hello.
So,
Sorry, I'm speaking English only. From Amanos? Domino's. No, I'm not ordering anything. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. And I miss the pizza right now. Okay.
Guy, you should have given me the pizza. Come on.
Okay.
well, Guy, can I just point out a couple of mistakes you just made?
Yep.
Your first question is, oh, hi, Domino's. Remind me, did I prepay? If they say yes, you say thank you. If they say no, say, oh, I'm not the guy you're looking for. I'm
Naughty.
joking, of course. Yeah, I'm being naughty. I'm joking. Please go on. And I think Sai and then Kim had question. You're still working on Sai's question, right?
Yes. Sai, it's something related to where we are going. That mean this is something, maybe it's coming also from the original environment that I live with. Always we are, let's say in Syria, we have a challenge to always find the best for our families. It's not easy to live there. Currently, it's much harder, but at that time, even it wasn't easy. So always we are looking for something more productive, something more in hand. It has to reflect to the people to have a value. To have a value from, let's say, moral point of view and also from income point of view. So whatever I'm studying, if I wasn't able to put it in hand, put it on the market, it will be useless for me. And remember, 2009, I decided not to go to Malaysia, not to get the master. So I'm still in Syria. So that's why I was focusing on that part. And then it's become my life. That even right now, I'm doing the same. So this is why it's something coming from the environment that I live where I live. I'm living there. That's all. But there is some insight behind it. Let's say at the end, all of us, just what me and Tom used to say, we have vertical growth and we have horizontal growth. So as you see, there is somebody has to master that horizontal. I'm not telling that I'm mastering it, but yes, I have a passion toward that. Kim.
Okay, so firstly, thank you so much for sharing. That was amazing, and very open and very honest and beautiful. And you know, it's interesting because I think that anyone who loves learning, who is interested in seeking knowledge for knowledge's sake, that they, as you say, have these two universes that they're living in. I love that you have the Eigen universe. This is fantastic. I think that we all have this intellectual universe that we live in that is very egocentric by necessity, because it is what we enjoy, what we like, what keeps us going, what interests us, what keeps us curious. I think it's interesting that that both you and Tom attribute it to arrogance. I think that everyone, when they're young, is arrogant. I mean, I have teenagers. Teenagers are arrogant. It's a necessity to break away from where we come from and create our own identities, to suddenly have a sense of our own identities. We need to define this. We need to look after it. And that by necessity is a very selfish process. So I think you're very hard on yourself in terms of looking at where you've been. But I think that, but that a lot of people are. And so it's great to share that, because we all go through this life trying to transition. I mean, that's what we're always doing, right? We're always trying to move with the water that's changing. And the choices that we make, you know, the fact that you stayed in Syria, the fact that you needed that coffee to drink you is what defines you, you know. It's beautiful. I mean, this is what makes Ghaith, you know, like, how could you be anybody else if you didn't have that experience? So I think that my big takeaway from everything that you've said is, yeah, we all have this road, and we have goals that we set that could be our own. They could be based on our society, based on our culture, what we're raised with. But if you stay looking inwards to what keeps you curious, and you follow this, then you're going to get on your road. You're going to find your road. And I think it's beautiful, your journey. I think it's wonderful. And I'm so happy that you know that coffee's still with you. So thanks for sharing.
She is suffering, honestly, but okay. One time I told Magdi one time about this. One time I feel that we are 3 kids in the home, not only 2. I'm the 3rd. Okay, so that means I'm the youngest even. But she decided that, okay, so this is about my wife. But in general, yes, I agree with you that all the teenagers, when we are young, we have this arrogance. But somehow, maybe I remember all of this. By the way, I didn't prepare what to say. I just only remember there is really clear in my mind, clear highlights, clear points in my trip. Let's name it. And this is what I highlighted here, because it was all of them. It was hard lessons. It wasn't something easy. But whatever the lesson, even if you didn't die at that time, that means you will become hopefully better person. I'm not going to say stronger, because I don't believe strong is the best. For example, I hopefully it will be better person, at least better. By the way, كلما, every time, this is in Arabic also, every time you have a wider vision, your statement will be less. You cannot describe it. So the same here. I'm not going to say I'm better, but I'm right now what I am. This is me. I think I'm able to give. This is the most important right now. So, and
Yeah.
why? Because of these lessons, not only because that I'm good. I born as a good person, for example. No, not like this. I'm only one person. That's all.
But
I
I'm
can
glad
see.
for it.
Yeah, thank you. I can see there is.
We've talked about this before, Ghaith. That time where you start to realize you look beyond yourself and others, maybe because you realize, oh wow, we're each so blind relative to everything there is to know, and ignorant relative to everything that can be known. And it humbles you. And you and I have talked about that a lot. It's almost freeing to finally admit our epistemological limits, to put it in a very fancy way, but just in a simple way, how blind and ignorant we are. And the humility that brings in. I know you've gone through that too. What would you say was the biggest turning point for you to come to that, as Kimberly and I would like to put it, that anti-teenager stage, where or not the anti, but the anti-teenager stage, where you're really the enlightenment that comes from our human limits? What was there a catalyst, or was it just an eventual dawning?
At which point let's say I moved from. Yeah. It was when it's normal, but in our culture, it's something still new that happened when I attend the birth of my son, the first son. First, it has a story behind it. That means we spent 3 years without any chance for pregnancy. There, I have some issues appeared. It was medical, because of medical mistake. What funny story. I'm working all my life in the hospitals. Okay. And when we decide to go for, let's say, artificial solution for that, we have to make some lab tests. In that lab test, we discover that my wife is pregnant. So, okay. And then when I attend the birth in the hospital, I just 3 years of headache, let's say, of hectic time. And all of a sudden it's finished. My son is here. I don't have anything to do. I'm just looking for new creature appeared in the world. I don't know how this has happened. And he's the most important thing for me right now. I cannot see anything else. But at that point also, this is something, this is how we live. All the time there is a newborn people, there is okay. So I start think that honestly, it's not only me in this world. Not only my son is the important person. He's the most important for me. But maybe this is what I'm trying to teach him right now, that whenever he wants something, to just think about other kids with him in the school, for example. Just to know what to ask for and how to ask for it. Because he's not the only person. Because I love him so much, I'm trying to let him think that way in his early age, not to discover it later. I think that point, which is very happy point of my life, but yes, it was full of questions. One time I asked my wife how much I have to pay for this, for my son. So she looked at me, okay, how much? This is something, it's priceless. It's something you cannot pay for it. The greatest thing in our life, it's not related to the income or how much we pay. It's related to how much we feel about it. So I think we have to feel about others also.
That's beautiful. I don't remember at which point. Embarrassingly, it wasn't too long ago where I realized there were things far more valuable than great riches, like you're saying. Magdi, hi. Oh, I love it. Stay on mute. I'm going to just lip sync for you. Guys, you're so handsome. And that was so eloquent. Everything you said, that's what she said so far. Now go on.
I'm sorry, I just joined lately because we have winter time and I saw that we start like in a quarter or 10 minutes. Anyway, I just realized halfway that it's running. So here I am. And just so I cannot relate what guys said in the first half hour, but what you said now is how you can pay this for your child. I think it is, the payment is what you give basically. So what you get from him, it is, and what you are contribute to his life and the life, I mean, that you form him as a person and what kind of person he will be then. This is your payment, because that is your contribution basically, that you bring up a person who will be wonderful and amazing. And this is the only payment you can do, right?
Since I know you, Magdi, we are friends, I know you mean it in the correct way, but currently when I'm in Germany here, especially yesterday, I was telling my wife one thing, because it's the first time I spent 2 days without speaking to my kids. So I tell her that don't think that they need me. I need them. This is right now, it's totally different story I'm discovering, which is, yes, I'm trying to pay by helping him to be a better person and hopefully to help him to go in the correct way, not to decide which way he was going. But whatever he decides to do, I will be supporting for him until he's happy. But currently, what is my point? It's really, I have it in a different way. I need their support, my son and my daughter for sure. I need their support. I need to speak to them. I need my daughter, she has a very funny word always she is saying, starting from when she was 2 years old until now, she is 6. Always she is coming to my bed and standing over my head and telling me, Dad, please make me laugh. She wants to laugh. And this is really, I'm missing it right now. I need them. They are giving to me, not I'm giving to them. Really, honestly. As I told you also again, my kids, for me, it's a lesson for other world. That means for the whole population, the world. So just like how I feel about my kids, I feel about the others. That mean, yes, there's nothing to give here. I think, and we are in this life in continuous, let's say, exchanging process. Once we stop giving, we will never get anything.
Hear, hear.
Yeah, but in terms of kids, I think it is a continuous giving without you knowing that you give something, just being there and act and play a role in their life. Even there is a phase when they don't need you at the moment, for example, or the circumstances make it like that, but it doesn't mean that you are not giving in a way unconsciously something. You always you always deliver a message to your kids unconsciously.
Yes. Yes,
I mean, you unconsciously, and they receiving it or perceive it unconsciously as well. So there is, I mean, that is the impact. You can call it as an impact on them.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I think it's important too to keep in mind that that we as human beings are all a family, much like our family here, because there are people who don't have children, and that doesn't take away or negate the growth that you have by giving and receiving to people. I mean, I have children. My life is incredibly intertwined with theirs and woven into theirs, but I also feel that that as human beings, much to like what Ghaith said, if you are giving, you are receiving. There is a flow that goes in a fashion all around, where you know, if you are no longer feeling the motivation to give, then you have something wrong. You need to address something in your life. Something is wrong, because there's something that you're not feeling, and so you have to discuss with yourself, why am I not feeling? Why am I feeling like I have nothing to give? Because that's something that can happen to a lot of people. And I think that especially for younger people today, that this idea that family is where you're going to get your support from, I worry about this notion. I mean, here in New York, they're always talking about how many people have lost their parents, how we have this enormous problem with mental health, because there are so many children who have lost their parents now because of COVID. And, you know, there are, this brings back what Ghaith was saying about, you know, when you lose someone in life, you always gain too, as long as you're receptive, as long as you're willing to share that feeling with people. People will be there. You know, it's like they say with the teacher, the moment the student is ready to learn, the teacher appears. I think it's the same with giving. The moment you're willing to share, to give of yourself, things come back. Much like Tom's always said, with more together. I think that all of this is all about that. And that, you know, I think so many people learn how to be like this because of children, because it's the one thing in life that we, whether we want to or not, we give everything, because that is, you know, they're dependent on you for everything when they're little. And just that dependence raises us. It makes us better, because we suddenly take on this responsibility. And, you know, if people in the world were willing to take that responsibility for everyone, and for the planet, we would have such a better place. You know, it's just that we're so tribal, and we need to evolve from this. We need to move on from this tribal aspect, in my opinion.
I'd like to quote the guy that gave the commencement speech at my daughter's boot camp for the Air Force. She's with the Air National Guard. And it was very profound. He said, do you want to feel better for an afternoon? Take a nap. Do you want to feel better for a week? Go on a vacation. Do you want to feel better your whole life? Then choose a life of service.
Yeah.
And what happened is Ghaith realized this son of mine completely depends on me for his existence. And I'm always giving to him, but as I do that, why is it I find he's giving so much more to me than I'm giving to him? And as Ghaith and I teach each class, we realize, we taught some people some new stuff, but we learned more because we learned it better by helping. Can't even explain it most of the time. Live a life of service to others. That's where the magic happens.
I cannot agree more. Honestly, there is one. Yes, please. Who is talking?
Sorry for interruption. I just want to say
Go
I haven't
ahead.
experienced any of that. But now, after listening to you, I feel like I know what my parents would have gone when I was born. That's the only thing which now I feel.
No, you don't know. You don't know. I will tell you why. Because what I'm telling you right now, it's not really explaining how I feel. And even, by the way, this is funny. My father died when I was 4 or 5, almost 5. But his stay in my life, my father, I believe he's a great person because he's my father at the end. So for sure he's the best. But there is a good point about him. He was working in Italy, study and working in Italy for from 1960 to 1974. When he back again to Syria, he was the first physician with who specialized in anesthesia. So he was the first one in Aleppo, in my city. So according to that, a lot of training he performed, a lot of surgical operation he was involved in. So as a physician, he lived a 13 year, very busy. And this is become, according to that, there is a lot of friends for him. So in all my life, I was able to see my father all the time. There is somebody remind me that, okay, you are look like your father. He was great. I don't know if he really was great or not, but as I told you, since he's my father, he's great. Not from arrogant point of view. This is my father. This is something I belong to him. So that's all. But I really didn't discover when my mother was telling me that you are, it's in Arabic, just like you are part of my heart, something like this. We are using in Arabic. I didn't discover really what this means until I see my son, which is because he is the, let's say, the older one, also my daughter for sure. But I'm starting from my son because he is the first. At that point, I think there is something that something you cannot describe it, how to speak about it. But yes, you make a lot of decisions at that point. This is very sure. I'm sure about it. So you still don't know. And even if you ask them, they will not answer you.
So true.
In the spirit of this, forgive me if this is too much changing gears. I know we'll change back if it's not good timing, but we're coming up on our year-old celebration. That's what next week's going to be about. And we're kind of trying to check in as the steward team to say, to everyone, and we can discuss this now if you want, in the spirit of what we're talking about. How can we help each other better? And to me, it's a lot like what Ghaith's saying. His son has no hesitation to say, Dad, I want this. Dad, I want that. But sometimes the parents need to say too, I want to see you improve in here and here, but we want to really be serious about more together. And if we're going to live that as a family, how can we do better moving into our second year? Now, you don't have to answer now, but be pondering it this week and supply it in various channels of our Slack work group. But because of the insights Guy's honest speaking about his life gave us today, let's all use that to help us think how we can move toward even a better or a more better. I like to say it that way, a more better, more together. I think that's a good thing to include in our discussion this morning.
Since you start this, Tom, I have to highlight what Hugo is doing in general. I think he's doing what we wish to do until now, and hopefully he will push it forward for sure. Maybe it's a good idea always when we start something, it's to clone it, enhance it, not clone it as a clone, enhance it and implement it in multiple ways. So Hugo right now, he's, let's say, starting the sub branch of our family by his own. Sai, for example, in his university, he is doing something which is not related to us, but at the end, he is doing this community also in his university. I think other people, they are able to do that. I know, yes, last week I apologize. I told you I will never, I'm able to attend the steward meetings, and some other activities will be limited, but hopefully it's only until January. After January, I will be maybe more free to do that, to back again. And honestly, something I think about it, but I don't know if it's the time or not, to do some physical activities. That mean, for example, here, I don't think there is a lot of people here in Berlin from in our community. But if yes, I will be happy to invite everyone just to make at least one time together. This is the only thing. And there we can discuss about how to push our more together in more practical way, let's name it.
It'll sure be great. To me, I love video conferencing. I think it's really brought the world together, but should be nice when we have transporter systems. Now, you may laugh, but if you think back, I started watching Star Trek at the age of 5. This was the original series. And they had communicators that looked more ancient than cell phones now. There's a lot that appeared in Star Trek that we've copied. It almost inspired new technology. Now, things we don't have are warp drive, transporters, and the holodeck. But we need those 3 things. So Sai, get off your butt and make them happen. You're the future. Got to create transporters, the holodeck, and warp drives, okay? And safe space travel.
Sure, Dad.
Yeah, but you defragment to the quantum level to do that.
Surely till the time you are around, I think everything will be okay. So I can reach out to you guys.
I mean this much nicer than the way it's going to sound. Whatever, Kim. It would be nice when Ghaith and I dream about the future for the family, where we're running several products and business and services from it. We've discussed locations such as the coast of Italy, near the border of France. Maybe a first location in Georgia, because there's a lot of need there and it's beautiful there. It's right on the Black Sea. But of course, we'd have to consider northern Germany, so that we're near Scandinavia and that hub of Europe. And then, but one place we've decided we should never go is the south of Germany. We just feel like we need to avoid that area at all costs. No, I'm joking, Maggie. It's very beautiful there, in fact.
No. I will tell you, Magdi, before, but just only for this, we're avoiding that because we will visit separately. This is the
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think so. It will be a hidden, secret place to visit. I'm fine with it.
It'll be our, not a safe house, but our safe place, our safe area.
By the way, one of my juniors sitting besides me and he's literally brainstorming me about you guys. He's listening to you secretly, but he's, I think, afraid to speak to you directly. He's like, who are they? What are they speaking? Who is Ghaith? Who is Tom? Balli, chalayo. And he really wants to know about you and
Tell them to join.
Yeah, join. We don't, there's no rules about who can and can't join. By the way, I've been getting, now that we're getting more known and popular, I'll have people approach me and say, does it cost anything? And I said, oh, it is the most expensive mentoring plan on the planet, because while we don't charge you any money, we ask a commitment that you pay it forward. And that is even more expensive than paying money. And they agree wholeheartedly to do it.
Hugo, you are here, Hugo?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I will never cry today.
Hugo is paid up for decades, by the way.
Oh boy.
Did you come close to crying at one point, guy?
No, today no. Today, honestly, no. Because I was feeling great telling this, because this is, maybe it's the first time make this review to my life in public, let's say. For sure, personally, I do a lot, but in public. So I wasn't close to cry, but I don't have problem to cry. This is the other side. For me, it's okay. I'm crying whenever it's needed. But I'm not using my tears, not like this. But yes, when I feel I have to cry, I cry. That's all. I don't have this manlish mentality that, okay, never cry. No, not like this.
No. I hope I wouldn't offend anyone, but that's my impression of my Latino guy friends. Don't cry.
Yo.
Never let them see you cry. You're tough. But yeah.
Honestly, I will tell you, Tom. Yes, I don't have a problem to cry, but I have a clear problem of making decision toward me when I'm crying. That means don't show me any kind of whatever, even if it's helping. I don't want it. Yes, I have this mentality somehow. This is where the Latino people meet the Mediterranean people somehow.
Anyway, since it's a normal discussion, I just wanted to ask everybody, like, how was your college life? Like, those engineering which you just spoke about, just describe about some good and bad things about it. It might help me.
I myself feel spoiled. I went to one of the best universities on the planet while it was still very state supported. Even if I take into account inflation side, it was extremely cheap. My tuition, my books, even my living expenses, my parents were able to comfortably send me to the University of Texas at Austin. Now, if I were to go now, any Texas school, which are very famous schools now, well, they were then too, it would be, even if we normalized for inflation, it would be so much harder, so much more money now. So I feel really spoiled. And even with the low speed limits we had in our country back when I was going to college, 4 hours one way between my hometown, Dallas, and Austin. So I just feel very spoiled that I was able to do. Now, tuition started to go up as I went through grad school, but my wife and I are very frugal, and we were able to pay off both her student loans and my graduate school loans pretty quickly, even though there at the end, we took out a lot of loans just to finish. But like I said, we just lived frugal until we got them paid off, and we've not had those for decades now. So, but I know it's much different now. It's a bigger commitment, bigger sacrifice to get through undergraduate and grad school. But Sai, I'd like to turn the question back to you. I don't really have much of a clue at all what it's like to go through school in India. I've gotten a few feels, for example, when I hear B.Tech, I don't know how that equates to a degree here. When I hear that math is not required, is not thought of as a technical area, that bugs me for y'all. Because Tina, I think she did her undergrad in some type of mathematics, but it was considered, over here we have what we call STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. That's all considered, very related, but math seems like it's separate from engineering over there. And I'm like, what?
That's something you can say, but at the end of the day, the people who teach me maths in engineering colleges are from maths background. So without them, I don't think that I would be able to learn as much as math possible faster than I would have learned from some non-mathematical background person. So yeah, but I think Kim has something to say, I guess.
So I'm not sure if you were thinking just in terms of, the academic side of college or the social side of college, but when I was in college, the internet was just born, and it was only in colleges at the time. And computer science they were still teaching Pascal and Modula 2. So it was a long, long time ago. But one of the things that I found very helpful through college was I hung out with a group of students that were international, because I had just come back from Germany, and I was immersed in a bunch of things. I lived in New York, and I went to school in a very small school, which was in the middle of nowhere. And that was very hard for me because it was in the middle of nowhere. The idea that it didn't have something within 3 miles that I could get to that was a convenience store was just crazy to me. And so there was an adjustment where you had to rely on everyone around you much more, I think, than I would have if I were in the city or if I had gone to school in a different university. But one of the things that was fantastic about having this international group of friends and people who were all very interested in learning generally. I mean, the school I went to was full of people who really wanted to learn, as opposed to people who just wanted to get a degree, which I think makes a big difference. So my feedback is really think about who you surround yourself with, because it makes such a difference in terms of your experience of your learning and your experience of college. When you think about what you like and what you enjoy, get together with other people. And we used to have in our group, we would have dinners every weekend where we cooked for everyone, so there would be like 20 of us. And we would all cook and make food for the week so that we could all study together, because it's hard to learn. It's hard to learn things that you're not used to learning. And if you don't create these communities around you to help you, then you're isolating yourself and you're losing out. Even if sometimes we need to be by ourselves to really study quietly, you know, like I used to live basically in the library or in the common areas. But if you are only learning in your own self and not interacting with others, then you're losing out on the different ideas that you can get from them. So definitely keep learning from the people around from you. Keep sharing. I think it's wonderful that you've started this AI group, because you're going to meet other people with similar interests and ideas, and that you're going to be able to grow together through that. And that's a fantastic thing.
Magda, yes.
Yeah. What I would like to add to this, because I also feel that being surrounded like-minded people, or people who are, let's say, sharing most of the time the same values, it's very important. I mean, college years are really important, and I can tell you that the people around me from that group, from my college and then later the university, I keep in touch with them, and we are living in different countries, but there is like almost every summer now, due to COVID, we couldn't meet, but every summer all the people just gathering in our homeland, so home country, and we meet up and keep in touch also via social media and messaging each other. And during, for example, COVID, we just made Zoom calls and checked up on, okay, how are you in Spain, in France, in the Netherlands, in Belgium, and so on, because we are spread quite much, but some people stayed in the country. So it's really important. I mean, it's a nice thing to get back always that to that relationship what we had during college, because they are really nice people. I think the second thing, I was privileged to study something what I really wanted to study. In both cases, it was two different paths. What I could study at the college and doing bachelor in one program, and I studied totally different thing in masters, and I didn't have any tuition fee, so I didn't start my life with the burden of paying back student loans. So this was a really privileged starting point. But I wanna tell you about this, that don't feel stick what you study, yeah, because it can be that 4 years, 5 years, 3 years, whatever it takes, it is a nice time. Take as much as you can out of it. So I'm really glad that I could make an internship, which I really liked, in a country. So I did it abroad. That was a big issue at that time. I mean, now it is you have much more chances and opportunities. That time when I did that, there was really limited how you could travel out of your country or somewhere and do internship for 3 months, for example. And I had also the possibility to do scholarship in a different country. And I really, I saw that this is just great. So just be open-minded during the studies, what opportunities it brings. Either you create it, or you just keep in mind, okay, well, what the college offers is scholarship somewhere abroad, for example, or with a company within India, for example. Whatever it brings, just consider. Don't say that, okay, I will not do it. Just think about it at least, because it gives you so much, I would say. And even I studied 2 different things, I'm doing a third thing. So that's why I'm saying don't feel obliged that, okay, I have the degree in this one and rest of my life I have to do that. Because no, you have to be still open-minded after graduation and pick up on the chances and say, okay, let's try. It sounds interesting. So don't feel that you are labeled when you are studied engineering, when you studied mechanical engineering, that you have to stuck there. No, you have so much possibilities nowadays. And I think that was, this somehow relates to the survey. Someone put it on Slack this week. Shall we choose a special path or gather more a generalized knowledge? You know, it's up to you what you prefer. I think it is much more about your character That's how you feel about it. So nobody can tell you that you should do this or that, choose this or that, because you have to feel that what kind of person you are. So for me, I would go for the general path because I'm eager to learn. I'm eager to get to know other stuff, and I don't feel that I have to go deep into one thing, because after that, after a while, it will be just boring for me. So I want to try this one, that one, and yeah, these things will bring you opportunities. So enjoy so the main thing, the message, the bottom line is enjoy your time in college, take whatever you can, including take people with you, share your experience with the people. So if you can do something nice, take someone with you. And then, because it will just spread. And then after that, same, stay open-minded and choose your own paths, because you are the one who will make a tailor-made path for yourself. And you have to feel good about it. You have to feel comfortable about it. So nobody can tell you that, yes, I do this or do that, because it will be good for you. You have to feel that. You have to find that. And these college years is a good foundation for that.
Lot to take. Yeah, it's, I think, worth it. The thing.
Valerie, sorry, Sai, but Valerie also, she has something.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not having my picture up because I have an eye infection and it looks horrible. So anyway, you know, Sai, what I think about is the one thing that you will always carry with you is your mindset. It's always comes back to your mindset and your state of mind. Okay. Because like when I was in college, I mean, jobs that did later in life didn't even exist. Nobody knew. And so I think if you can build your skills to be resilient and capable of adjusting to change, I think like Susan had said, don't have a 5-year plan, but have a direction. You know, think about where, and especially being in a dynamic, ever-changing, you know, IT, data science, you know, thing, you're going to have to make a lot of changes. And so think about how you get a mindset where you can thrive and adapt to change, because I think it's difficult. You know, if you're not accustomed to that change and you get blindsided because, you know, you're not aware or it's difficult for you, it's going to be much harder. So I think being aware of industries, being aware of what's going on around you, but really work on your mindset, whether that is, you know, meditation, whether that is working on your habits, whatever it is, so that you are kind of preparing yourself so that you can engage with whatever life comes your way. That's what I would suggest to you is work on your character, work on that inner strength, so that no matter what happens or where you go, that will always be with you.
Yeah.
I want to comment here also, but I have a question. I think if Tom is here, or to you, all of you, if you are able to answer it. The comment from my side, just for your learning, I think something that I was doing a lot, which is trying to teach my colleagues about our courses, our classes. That mean for me just to feel that I'm okay, I got the idea, I understand exactly where it is and how it can be grow. I'm trying to teach them. So this is at that point, that mean since I still have this analogy, since it's able to be simplified, that mean you get it well. So this is something it will help you. Now, not regard to the grades and to your exams, not like this. It's just for you to be sure that you master the concepts that you are studying. Now, for sure, when you are going to do that, you need the friends, the people around you. You need all of this. I agree with all that. And you need the mindset that help you to do that. My question, it's like this. Tom, I think this is for you. I think, but also anybody can answer. When I'm reading the history, since I like the history, you can find that this person, for example, he's author in medicine, in philosophy, in religion, in many things. And now we don't have much of these people. Honestly, there is a great people that in one field, when they are trying to speak on another field, they will be very foolish, just like me. I'm not great on anything, okay, but really there is some scientists, when they go out of their fields, currently, they are unable to cover any sense from it. So what's happened between the old, let's say, scientists and the current scientist? Why this difference appeared? Yes, I agree on this specialization and how much the person has to be specialized. But why this overall knowledge or overall education, it's not appeared anymore? This is something always I think about it.
I think it still does exist. I think it's just a question of whether or not you're choosing to go into a specific program, or you're choosing to go into a liberal arts college, or you're choosing to maximize the offerings that each school has in terms of the types of courses and the types of requirements that you have. Most universities will encourage students to try different areas and different subject matters. But it is, I think that it's the working world actually that is very myopic, and that is forcing people to feel like they have to go into a specific vertical or specific area of expertise. We always have our own choice to do this. You know, we don't have to agree with this in all of our lives. It's fine if universities and businesses, they want to focus on specific skill sets for specific jobs. That's fine, but then put it in that compartment. That compartment is like, this is what I'm learning for my job, my skill set. But that doesn't limit you in any way from learning everything that you want to learn in life, especially now with so much available online.
I agree with many things Kim just said. It's kind of a, supply and demand. Ghaith, you and I have felt the frustration when we dive into history. The deeper we want to dive, the more frustrated we get because of the lack of things we really want to know. But then the demand is shifted away from the history. People, it's not being emphasized. There's so much to learn in their field of expertise. And I like the word Kim used, myopic. I wish science and math was taught from a historical perspective, so that we paid adequate homage to those that developed it, but also students get an adequate feel for how long it took them to develop this stuff, so that the students don't feel bad when it takes them longer than average occasionally, not all the time, to really master something. For example, there were certain elements of statistics in college that I took to right away. Others confused me for decades after, until I finally, oh, that's all that was. And usually it was just me overcomplicating it. But had I learned it from a historical perspective, and we could have taken more time to done experiments with code and simulations, would have got it. That's why I'm always encouraging people, look back to the history of things, appreciate the time scales it took to develop it, and play with it. That's how you really learn it. But yeah, Guy, unfortunately, if historical appreciations for our current arts continue, it'll be because a few people took passion toward it. If you and I write our history of math and science book, I'm not sure it will sell well, but it'll be good that we wrote it.
Okay, I will tell you, I have a feeling about this book, which is, it will not be a book. I think it will be kind of series. Maybe we can publish something about it as articles. It will be, and we can make it interesting. That means we can make it as a story. So, okay. Now we go into the business. Who will be with us, please?
I think, Kim, this direct message you gave me, I would appreciate it if you would kind of discuss what you're telling me openly. I think everyone would like to hear it.
I can't stand it. With this chat constantly sends me to you. I think that you've got some kind of energy field, Tom. You're sucking all of my chat messages.
About 20% of my messages that are direct to me were meant to be to everyone. So it's not just you.
Okay, good. So I was basically responding to this idea that Tom had mentioned about, if he had more time when he was learning things, he would have focused on the history. And that is the thing, is that this, it's like the David Bowie song about time, his trick is you and me. And it's very true, because if we look at time as the measure, then it constrains us. Time by its very nature is a constraint. And so when it comes to learning, try not to think of time, try not to measure it, and to just think of learning. And, it's kind of the idea of just being at the moment where you are. It took me forever when I was learning computer science to program. Some people would just blow my mind. They would in 5 minutes do something with a mathematical equation that did what I just did in 50 lines of code. And I would just say to myself, I'm not meant to do this, like I'm not good at this at all. And one of the things that I realized is that that I wasn't good at thinking about things quickly. I think about things slowly. It takes time for me to learn stuff. And so if I was in a situation like school, where you have a class that goes for a semester and you have to get everything done, I would sacrifice the full in-depth understanding to just do what I had to do to get it done, to get the grade, because I wanted the A and because I wanted to carry on and I wanted to continue my scholarship or whatever. But if what's funny is that those things that you have curiosity about, they stay with you. And so you're going to take the time sooner or later, if you're still interested in it, to learn about it, because it's going to itch at you. And so this is a beautiful thing about each of us. We each have things that stick with us in terms of our interests. And sometimes we're not even sure why we're interested in them, but it's important to respond to and keep in mind everything that interests you, because that is what makes you. You get drawn and attracted to that which is interesting to you, even if it's on an unconscious level, even if you're not consciously aware that it's continuously drawing you. You will find in your experience, if you look back, as Ghaith did, looking back at his life, he sees the patterns after the fact, because it's always easier to see patterns afterwards. But as you're going along, as long as you're true to yourself in that path, as long as you're saying, okay, does this feel right for me? Then it can't be wrong. It's only when you suddenly feel like, I don't know, this doesn't really feel good, that's pretty direct. That's like, maybe that's not such a good idea to do that. But for the things that you don't necessarily know why you like it, but you like it and you go in that direction, let yourself go. Sometimes it's you leading you without you realizing.
It will be part of the coffee.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Now, here also, when Kim, first I'm surprised when you are telling me that you are not thinking about the things and the fast or quick as much as it has to be. I'm surprised. I don't think that. Okay. Now, I think you are, maybe, I believe that you have a quicker mind than most of us. Okay. But when we are talking about the history of the things, I feel the knowledge itself, that let's differentiate between let's say the information or the data and the knowledge. The knowledge, it's not something easy to get. The knowledge, it's something related to exactly find a full story to tell, a full pattern to follow behind any small thing. So it's something needs a lot of maybe history, a lot of practicing also. So let's differentiate between the grades, between the study and the learning and the knowledge. the real knowledge, which is right now when we are in the business, they name it experience. Okay. Also, it's not the same as knowledge, but I'm talking about the knowledge which is somehow wider. So I think we need to focus on the knowledge, let's say in general, beside focusing on the information. This is the first point. The second point, it's funny what knowledge can tell you sometimes. Maybe something, since today is my session, so I can again back to myself. Okay. I didn't study music, not, let's say, not Oriental, not any kind of music, but I enjoy it a lot. But I have something that I always doing it, and this is okay. My wife didn't like when I'm doing that. When I listen to any Arabic song, I try to know who's the composer. And 95%, let's say 90%, okay, I guess who's really. I can find a pattern on that. Okay. I don't know why. I don't know how also, but this is something I feel it's part of the knowledge itself, that you build even a link between you and whoever who produced something, not only about the music. I give the music as example. It's part of the knowledge. When you read an article or you find a product or you find a new scientific findings or something, you can even build this relationship with this person who performed that. And according to that, you can understand exactly where it will go. Okay, this is my favorite sport since I'm lazy person. I'm doing that a lot.
Yes, but your hobbies are just as much, the learnings, whether it's curiosity in a subject matter, a subject matter, or music or art or anything. These are all different facets of you. These are all different ways of becoming Ghaith, becoming better Ghaith. It's your individual programming.
Something like that, yes. NLP, kind of, not natural language programming.
What is more natural than what comes from you?
Hey,
Let's say
Boniface,
it's a neural language programming. Let's say something about my mentality.
Boniface, Kim wanted to say bye to you, but she sent it directly to me again.
Lord, sorry about that.
When you accidentally do that, then I hit type. If I don't check that it's to everyone, it switches it. It's funny. Hey, I
Okay.
don't want anyone to feel shy if they have to leave now. We have been going for over an hour and a half, but yeah, we're just being family, so it's good.
So Tom, if we are in good stopping point, I can stop the YouTube. It's okay.
It looks like we are.
Yeah, there's somebody in the chat room that hasn't said anything since today. His initials go by GGC.
Yeah, Gary Gregoire Cuquillo. He's been very silent.
He's been very quiet. Not normal.
Hey, I'm here, team. I'm here. I was just listening to wisdom today. It's always good to hear you guys. I've been so Gio, this I think early last week. So he caught like this cold, and the school panicked. They were like, "Oh, you need to get him tested for COVID." So we got him tested, and of course, thank God he's negative. And then next thing you know, when someone lives in your house, it starts spreading. So he got it to Noah, then from Noah to me, then from me to Alex. So all four of us were like sick as dogs in the house. So my voice is a little rusty, but we're getting better.
And just so you guys know, Alex is Alexandria or Alexandra.
Yes. Yes, Alexandra. But I always try my best to plug in and get some wisdom. And I really liked Sai's comments about college and things like that. So I think you guys answered great in a great great way. Give him some good things. Somebody mentioned something about time to forget it, and I fully agree with that. Is that if there's something that they have is time, so they should just not worry about it. Just put it in I don't know, in a little bag and forget about it, and try different things until they find something they're attracted to and feel passionate about. So you guys were great. It's always good to sit in these settings and evaluate your own life and from the perspective of somebody else. So that's why I love plugging in whenever I can to extract some good food for thoughts and something good for the soul. So I appreciate you all.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Greg. Well, I think I will go study for my future. Seems like I've been doing that my whole life. And everyone have a great weekend. Guy, thanks for bearing your soul to us. It was beautiful.
Yes,
As we
thank you,
expected
Guy.
it would be.
Thank you all.
All right. And Valerie, thanks for speaking up. And we would have been okay with your Halloweenish eye. But we understand you not wanting to show it too.
Thank you.
And Chris, glad you joined us on your iPhone. All right, everyone.